These are the 10 best mysteries in The Simpsons. A new priest comes to Springfield and the town decides to fire Reverend Lovejoy. Warren Priests, Part 1, starts with a new guy coming to the church saying he came because of an ad.
Sorry, I'm here about the ad on Craigslist about you guys needing a youth pastor?
Reverend Lovejoy is confused and says that he didn't place any ad. Helen says she's the one who posted the ad. And the guy introduces himself as Bodie, a youth priest who came from Michigan. Reverend Lovejoy isn't very happy with this, and he reminds Helen that he's the one who's in charge.
In the end, isn't God in charge here?
Do you see Jimmy Buffett at every Jimmy Buffett cafe?
Good analogy, but I don't think it applies here. Reverend Lovejoy tries to show Bode how things are done in Springfield, but he seems to outshine him every chance he gets. So, when Reverend Lovejoy loses his voice, Bode steps up to hold the service. He starts by playing Amazing Grace, and everyone loved him.
This is the most exciting thing that ever happened in a white church.
Well, it definitely is the most exciting thing that has happened in this white church. Bode uses his moment to talk about God freely and informally.
I woke up this morning and I wasn't really sure if I believed in God.
No, God.
Fingers in your ears, boys.
Oh, he just lost all points with Ned. But Bode explains that he had his doubts like everyone else.
To many of us, God is just an angry old miser with a killer surveillance system.
Mr. Burns scoffs and says that everyone always picks on the miser. Well, it's good to see that Mr. Burns also attends church. With his words, Bode touched even the people who weren't very religious.
For the first time ever, I don't feel alone. Life is worth living. Hey, forget that hit I called on myself, huh?
Somebody get this man into therapy. After the service, Homer went to talk to Bode. Homer tells him this was the best church he had attended.
It was like some kind of religious experience. Will you join us for pancakes?
Whoa, pancakes already? He really wormed his way into Homer's heart. At the restaurant, Lisa got to talk to Bode and she told him she was a vegetarian and a Buddhist.
I love Buddha. That's where I got my name, the Bodhi tree. And I don't eat meat either.
He's some weird priest. Lisa starts questioning him about other things, like...
What about evolution?
Into it.
Gay rights?
Love is love.
Maybe Reverend Lovejoy is onto something having doubts about this guy. Nothing wrong with what he believes in, but definitely weird for a minister. Reverend Lovejoy tries to chime in with a joke about the Greek-Jewish wedding, but...
Why don't you take your cultural insensitivity back to the Spanish Inquisition you came from?
Oh, poor Lovejoy and his ill-timed jokes. The people want Lovejoy gone, and they fire him, which I'm not sure they can do. So Lovejoy decides to find some scoop on Bode, even if that means he has to go to Michigan. With time, Bode completely redecorated his office into something that seems a lot more Buddhist spiritual than Protestant Christian. He and Lisa even meditated together.
You've done something to this town I never thought could happen. A full-blown religious revival.
Yeah, and that's weird. He must be hiding some ulterior motive. Meanwhile, Lovejoy is in a library in Michigan digging up dirt on Bode.
Vengeance is mine, saith the me.
We really should have digitized that stuff.
To be continued. Reverend Lovejoy brings the truth about Bodie to Springfield. Warren Priests, Part 2. Unfortunately, doesn't tell us right at the beginning what's the awful thing that got Bodie fired, but we'll get there. We start off at the church with Bode saying that he wants to bring everyone together.
Not just Christians, but Hindus and Buddhists, even those that don't believe.
Ned stands up and asks if anybody besides him misses church the way it was, and nobody made a single noise. Wow, Ned, I guess you're alone. Ned doesn't agree with Bode's preaching at all, and he says that the church has changed enormously since he got there.
This church has gone from a place of warm, awkward silence into a gooey love fest.
Honestly, good for Ned for standing up for himself. And I think this was the last straw for Ned.
God is the love, the yes that set the universe in motion. He or she.
Somebody bring the crash cart. Bode continues his narrative, and Ned is just getting angrier and angrier. Bode tells Ned to go back and reread the Bible, which makes him more angry.
Are you questioning a man who travels with extra Bibles to put them in hotel rooms?
So, Ned's honor has been questioned. This means war. Meanwhile, Reverend Lovejoy and his wife have come to the place where Bode was fired, and they talk to the man who fired him.
Possessions don't matter. Money doesn't matter. This doesn't matter.
Is he burning what I think he's burning?
When he puts his mind to something, he surely makes it count, and this is just getting more and more suspenseful. Marge is getting worried about Lisa because she's taken a liking to the new pastor, and she even started reading the Bible.
When he speaks, I feel like he's speaking only to me.
Lisa, honey, I'm worried you'll get too attached.
I think it's a tad bit too late for that. Later that day, Bode came to visit the Flanders and talk to Ned. And Ned was prepared for that. Ned starts by saying that punishment is key to belief.
They will go away to eternal punishment, but the
righteous to eternal life?
Okay, the standoff begins. The final nail in the coffin came faster than Ned expected.
So the Lord banished him from the garden.
God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. Bang!
Damn, he's good. But he isn't ready for Lovejoy. At Bode's next service, Reverend Lovejoy barged in and said,
"This man is a heretic."
Now that's some serious accusation. Everyone started asking, what did Bode do?
He burned the Bible.
I know this is a weird thing to say in church, but we need proof.
You're right, that is a weird thing to say. Lisa tries to restore the trust people had in Bode by reminding them that the Bible teaches forgiveness.
We've mobbed for less, people.
They really are an angry mob.
Banish him.
Banish him! Banish him!
Cherish him! Cherish him!
Oh, now this is just sad. Bode says there's no need to banish him as he'll be leaving Springfield on his own. The Simpsons invite him over for a farewell lunch.
I just want to offer this simple prayer. Dear God, please let The Simpsons never end.
Amen to that. The next day, Lisa comes to see Bode and ask him why he burned the Bible.
I was trying to tell people that God is in your heart, not in a overbuilt cathedral or some book.
Well, even though it was a good idea, that's just not something you do. Bode went on to say that
I saw how people were using the Bible to divide and exclude.
Lisa asked why didn't he say any of it earlier, and he said that people wouldn't get it.
I'm 8 and I get it.
Well, you're advanced, Lisa. Bode just said he hopes the town will have an open heart.
But just making sure it doesn't say, we forgive you.
It doesn't.
Unless they wrote it in red.
Yeah, no.
Well, bye-bye, Bode. You will be missed. Only by Lisa. From priest scandals to suburban wives scandals, Springfield has seen it all. Marge learns the unsettling truth about Sarah Wiggum. Uncut Femme starts with Homer getting tickets for a concert and telling Marge about it. She reminds him that he was supposed to be taking kids on a field trip that day, and he begs her to take them instead. Marge then tells him that she already made a commitment that day.
I'm hosting the watch party. I have firm commitments from several A-level gays.
Honestly, her commitment sounds a lot more important than Homer's concert. Homer then reaches a solution.
You host your party, I go to the concert. No field trip for the kids.
He also tells her that since this was her decision, she gets to tell the kids. Now that's some heavy manipulation right there. Marge, of course, doesn't let this happen, and she takes the kids to the field trip, sacrificing her watch party. She gets paired up with Sarah Wiggum for the weekend and tries to talk to her, but she only replies with a few words.
So, have you ever been on a battleship before?
Probably.
Where has Clancy been taking her? Meanwhile, Homer is at the concert having the time of his life, and Chief Wiggum is also there, so both of them abandoned their wives in order to have fun. How husbandly of them. That night on the ship, Sarah surprised Marge with,
No offense, Marge, but geez, this field trip sucks.
She speaks. Sarah pulls out a bottle of liquor and tells Marge she broke into the Admiral's cabinet. She's full of surprises. The two of them get to talking, and Marge realizes how alike they actually are.
You have no idea what it's like to be married to a man with a dangerous job he's just not good at.
Actually, Sarah, I think Marge knows it too well.
Sometimes it feels like he
Takes me for granted.
But their connecting was cut short by a kidnapping.
Oh no. What are you doing here? How did you find me?
Who is Sarah Wiggum? The two women who kidnapped them were Sarah's old friends, Bet and Aaron. Well, not actually friends.
They're my old partners.
In a throuple? Who are the original two?
Partners in crime.
So is marrying Clancy just an alibi? Sarah tells Marge the story of her being a thief.
They never saw us coming, but they loved to watch us walk away. There's nothing we wouldn't lift.
Damn, Sarah. Life with Wiggum really did her dirty. She says that the big jobs were brought to them by a girl named Red. She got them a job stealing some diamonds in a penthouse.
I was the driver, and as always, the honeypot.
And that's where she met Clancy. She began to seduce him while her friends broke into the penthouse.
Do you happen to have
What, a girlfriend?
an ice pack?
Wiggum going straight to the point.
The kiss was part of the plan, but falling head over high flops wasn't.
Must be that Wiggum charm. But she got a little carried away and fell asleep. Then she heard the sirens.
Oh, will you marry me?
Probably.
And to marry him she did. But she was supposed to be the getaway driver, and her friends got arrested. But when she said it, her friends corrected her.
It wasn't your fault we got busted. We were set up by Red.
Well, I bet that was a relief. They say that Red got away with all of the diamonds, but they say they found her, and she goes by the name of Lindsay Neagle. Bet and Aaron want Sarah to help them steal the biggest diamond back, but Sarah says she's left that life behind. She has a husband and a special son now. Aaron says that it'd be a shame if the chief of police found out his wife was a criminal.
You never told Clancy?
Let's just say he's always been better at planting evidence than finding it.
Oh, poor Clancy. Sarah agrees to everything, but there is a slight fault in their plan. They want to steal the diamond back at the Gen Gala and sneak inside. But Marge, the biggest Gen Gala fan ever, tells them that they won't be able to go through that door because
Beyonce's going to be carried in by 20 plus-size gladiators who will form a human pyramid.
I know this is supposed to be an exaggeration of the Met Gala, but this seems very plausible to me. Marge says that the best plan would be to put on a crazy dress and sneak in through the red carpet. But still, Marge doesn't think they could ever get far without someone who knows everything about the gala.
Someone like you.
Yeah. This vanilla soccer mom could be our secret weapon.
Marge thought about it for half a second and immediately says yes. Her and Sarah get in, and Sarah steals the tickets.
The 55 stairs. The Tanqueray stiletto sharpener.
And everything so over the top you could die. Meanwhile, Homer and Clancy are looking for their missing wives, and they asked Fat Tony for help when,
if I'm not mistaken, that's how Marge looks when she's happy.
And that's my Sarah.
And they look more happy in a heist than with their husbands. Marge and Sarah see Lindsay, and Marge is supposed to distract her while Sarah swaps the diamond tiara.
Okay, don't be nervous. You can do this.
Nervous? This is the best field trip of my frickin' life.
Well, duh, she finally got out of the house. Sarah swaps the tiara and they start running away. But Lindsay drops her fake and it breaks.
We just have to slip out of here without anyone noticing us.
But unfortunately, their husbands show up.
Now is not the time, Clancy.
No. When it comes to love, it's always the time for shouting.
Since he's attracting so much attention to them, Sarah was forced to literally body slam Wiggum to the floor.
Shut up! Oh, God. Ow. Sarah Wiggum, who are you?
Lindsay catches up to them, but Marge stops her in her tracks. And then she falls down the stairs.
This time, leave me holding the bag.
Oh, thanks, homie. But they're part of the ensemble.
And the ladies have sealed the deal. And just like her mom, Lisa is also seeking justice. I guess it runs in the family. Lisa finds an old Simpsons diary and she learns some disturbing things about her family's past. The color yellow opens with Lisa doing some research for her genealogy project. But she quickly realized that there aren't any righteous Simpsons.
The Simpson family is a long line of horse thieves, deadbeats, horse beats, dead thieves.
Yeah, we figured. Not to mention a few alcoholics as well. Lisa asks Grandpa if he knows any good ancestors, but
maybe the nicest was Abigail Simpson, who you know as the Pittsburgh Poisoner.
That's comforting. Lisa goes to the attic to try and find something that will bring her closer to a good Simpsons ancestor. She finds a diary of a girl named Eliza Simpson.
I warn you, I don't know what's in there, but if it's about a Simpson, you ain't gonna be proud.
That's good advice, but Lisa doesn't listen and she continues reading.
Today, I am the happiest girl in Springfield.
See? All good.
Because tomorrow, I shall get my very first slave.
Uh-oh. This crushes Lisa because she can't believe she comes from a family of slave owners. But Marge encourages her to read some more. Lisa reads that Eliza is getting ready for a ball at Colonel Burns' plantation.
In my elegant gown, no one will suspect that I'm actually on a mission.
And her mission was to let her first slave escape to freedom. Okay, so not all Simpsons were monsters. But Homer says that she should stop reading now so she doesn't spoil it for herself. Because Simpsons have a way of disappointing you. Lisa didn't listen to him and she continued reading the diary. Eliza went to the ball and sneaked out to find Mr. Burns' slave, Virgil.
As we made our way northward, a couple of patrollers spotted us.
They chased them through the woods, but the horses were faster than them.
What happened next?
But that's all there is. The rest of the diary has turned to dust.
Hey, it's still a nice story. Eliza was a good person, but that isn't enough for Lisa. She and Marge went to the library to try and scoop more information. and the only thing they found was a cookbook from Eliza's mom. And for some reason, it also held stories. The cookbook said that Eliza and Virgil made it safely to the house.
I was very proud of Eliza, but my husband Hiram had not quite caught abolition fever.
But Virgil changed Hiram's mind with some wheel cakes.
Then dusted with powdered sugar.
You can say.
That Simpson male gene sure is strong. Hiram gives his word that he'll help Virgil, so they did do the right thing in the end. But when Lisa presented this at her Black History Month presentation, Milhouse had a few things to say. Apparently, his ancestor also kept a diary, and it said something quite different about the Simpsons. He heard Mr. Burns in the house telling Hiram that he knows they are hiding Virgil, and he tells them that every man has his price. Of course, Hiram caves in.
Father, no!
Eliza, hold your tongue!
Mr. Burns approaches Eliza and tells her,
And I know you really want to be a good girl, and good girls are seen and not heard.
And Eliza also caved. Hiram gives Virgil up.
After that fateful day, I could never even look at Eliza again.
Well, the Van Hotens sure know how to make things tough. This crushes Lisa, and she can't believe that's how the story ends, so she goes back to the library. There, she finds an old film about Eliza, and she confesses to being a coward and not making Virgil a free man.
I should have quit while I was ahead instead of learning the horrible truth about our family and Virgil.
Abe sees that Lisa is distraught, and he tells her that Virgil didn't have such a bad life.
Mabel knew her husband well, so she...
Get off my property, Colonel Burns!
Oh, she's a feisty one. Good for her for not trusting her husband. Mabel tells Hiram that she knew he wouldn't keep his promise, and she's going to take Virgil to freedom herself.
You defied your husband for me?
We're all shocked. Grandpa said that as the border grew close, so did the two of them. When they reached Canada, Mabel divorced Hiram.
Mabel and Virgil lived out the rest of their days in peace.
Grandpa said that since Virgil had no last name, they took the name Simpson, and their son Abraham was Grandpa's great-grandfather.
So you're actually descended from Virgil, not Hiram.
So the Simpsons are 1/64th black.
So that's why I'm so cool.
That's why my jazz is so smooth.
And that's why I earn less than my white co-workers.
Nope. No. He never should have learned that piece of information. Lisa is the true detective. Nancy Drew, if you like. And her detective skills reach its peak when Lisa finds a secret classroom in the basement of the school, and she tries to solve the mystery of Bus 23. 500 keys opens with Homer going to a cake shop and buying a big cake. But once he and the kids returned home, Maggie locked herself in the car.
We've got to get her out of there! Babies aren't supposed to sleep on their stomach in a cake!
Marge tries to find the spare key to the car in a big drawer of keys, and while she was doing that, Maggie let herself out.
So how come we have all these other keys?
Well, if you live long enough, you start to accumulate things.
You mean you steal other people's keys?
These are from a key party we went to before we realized what a key party was.
Bart and Homer decide to take a few keys and have some fun, while Marge and Lisa sorted through the other keys and decided to return them. Homer got the Duff Brewery key and went there with Barney, who pranked him into thinking he should fly the Duff Zeppelin. What is it with Homer and that Zeppelin? Maggie and Marge found a key to a wind-up toy and, well...
I hope I haven't stumbled onto my anniversary present.
Marge, I think you did. Lisa found a key to the school and went to return it, when Nelson tells her she should explore a little first.
Little Miss Play It Safe. Have a nice day. Just like yesterday. And the day before that.
This makes Lisa explore, and she finds a room that says banned books on it, so she decides to go in.
I've discovered a mystery wrapped in a riddle in the basement of a lousy school.
Finally, something interesting about Springfield Elementary. But when she took a closer look, she discovered that everything in the classroom was fake.
Everything is fake. What is going on?
Seems like a scene from that TV show Dark, and it's really dark. Lisa goes to Skinner and asks him if he knows anything about that hidden classroom, and he says,
Lisa, I know every moldy inch of this unaccredited school, but I have never seen such a thing as you described.
There's no way he doesn't know. I mean, he practically lives there, and you can't tell me he and Edna didn't, in every inch of the school. Lisa goes downstairs to show Skinner the classroom, but when she opened the door, there were only books there.
Lisa, go home. Relax. Try to do some kid things.
When has she ever done kid things? But later, Skinner was talking to Chalmers, and
Lisa Simpson may be on to us.
I oversee 14 schools, Seymour, and for some reason...
Chalmers continues that he always finds himself talking about one of the Simpson kids. Someone give Chalmers a raise, please. That man is hanging on by a thread. They try to hide their plotting from Lisa, but she's a nosy one.
We were just standing here discussing how we have no secrets.
And nothing to hide.
They take the key away from her, so she officially has no proof of the room she saw. She goes to get the key remade, and when she got back inside the classroom,
The children are on bus 23.
Okay, that's shady. Lisa talks to Bart about it, and he knows just the person who may have some information.
Whoa, Goldilocks, you best be leaving those bowls of porridge alone.
How does he get held back so much when he's so smart? Nelson tells them about bus 23. He said it was a cold winter and the bus was loaded with kids going on a field trip. He was going to shake them down for some money, but then he heard something shocking.
Sir, this bus is too heavy to cross the ice bridge. They'll have to take a more circuitous route.
But they don't take a safe route. And the bus never came back. Did this episode just turn into a murder mystery? But it's summer now, so they can't cross the bridge. But then came Homer.
Hey, kid! If I tossed you guys a bucket full of something, could you pour it out and toss the bucket back up?
They fly over the river, and Lisa falls out of the Zeppelin, and Homer jumps after her, leaving Bart to fly. Great plan. They saw a bus full of kids at the bottom of the river, but then...
That's not a real arm. It's plastic.
That doesn't mean you're any better than him, young lady.
The cluelessness is getting crazy. But the question remains. Why did Skinner and Chalmers load the bus with mannequins? Otto shows up, and Lisa realizes he was the one who left the message on the blackboard.
I'm not responsible for a horrible tragedy, and I didn't do anything wrong by fleeing the scene.
Otto also didn't report it, and says he killed that hobo with the big mouth. I pray the last part was a drug-induced hallucination. The Simpsons face Skinner and Chalmers demanding an explanation. Skinner says that years ago they received a government grant to improve the school, but he cashed it, and the money was washed in his pants.
To keep the feds from coming after us, we built the phony schoolrooms that you saw.
So they got the mannequins to fill the classroom and take a few pictures.
We could only afford to rent the mannequins.
If we didn't get them back by 5, we'd be charged.
So they make Otto think he killed 24 children to save their, what? The little dignity they had left? Lisa says that there were only 2 things that they didn't count on. Her dad with a giant wedding cake, and Maggie locking herself in the car. They say that they planned for the wedding cake, but not for the baby.
Well, you should have.
How could I? She wasn't even born yet.
People have babies.
While this was eerie, it didn't affect the Simpsons directly. But the next crime hit Homer where it hurts the most, his stomach. Homer buys a new barbecue, but then someone steals it, and he becomes depressed. Q Detective opens with the family being accused of smelling bad, and Marge knew just what the problem was. Their washing machine was moldy. So she gave some money she's been saving to Homer to go buy a new one. But Homer being Homer, he got distracted. He sees a roadside barbecue stand and he tries some. He was so surprised by the taste of the barbecue meat, but the guy offered to sell him his smoker.
The grill marks are shaped like a honeycomb.
That's why I call her the Hive.
Homer's gonna wish it was a real hive when Marge sees what he spent their money on. Marge got really angry with Homer, but when he cooked the meat on his new smoker, she forgot all about it.
Homie, I finally understand gluttony.
So now we can say that every Simpsons member has committed the 7 deadly sins. Soon, everybody in Springfield started coming to their barbecues, and they got really popular.
That smoker is the best thing that ever happened to us. Thank goodness for your selfish choices.
Wow, I don't think she ever dreamed of saying that. A famous chef came to their barbecue to challenge Homer to a cooking standoff. Homer accepts, even though this is the first time he's heard of him. But the next morning, when Homer went to cook some meat, he was surprised with...
Her smoker's been stolen! Why? And when?
Maybe because you left it in the middle of your backyard, unchained and unsupervised. Homer becomes depressed after losing his grill. And Bart tries to tell him he should get up and continue with his life.
Everything good that comes into our lives, the universe takes away.
Homer says from now on, he's just not gonna care. Bart tells him that he's always known his life sucks, so he should just get up and get drunk like he always does.
I don't want to.
Oh, it's really bad. Bart tells Lisa they have to help Homer, and she agrees. They realize that they didn't hear Santa's little helper bark even though he was in the backyard. Lisa finds a jar of natural peanut butter in Santa's doghouse, and they head to the store to see if they can find out who bought it. But when Lisa asked if the person can tell them who bought it, she got this response.
Who are you working for? The NSA? Big Pharma?
Tell us, tell us, tell us!
Oh, my hoops!
Bart's way is way more effective. The security cameras show that Nelson was the one who bought the peanut butter, so they track him down, but he escapes them without revealing anything. Bart and Lisa follow him, and they see him talking to somebody, but that somebody left, so they tried to get the grill back.
Hot, 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 hot.
After failing miserably, Bart and Lisa come to the same conclusion as their father.
The universe does hate us. It feels good to surrender.
They're such slobs, you really can't question if Homer's their father. Marge won't stand for this, so she makes them get up and go to the cook-off.
Do you think your meat has what it takes to win this eat-down?
It sure does.
Homer, what about you?
No way in hell.
At least he's being realistic. But when the dishes were served, Bart noticed something.
That meat was cooked on the hive. This garlic-sucking tunnel trash stole our smoker.
The guy really seemed confused by Bart's words, but the evidence was all there, so he was disqualified, and Marge won. But Lisa was confused. The whole thing seemed too easy. Why would a professional chef steal the smoker? And how does Nelson fit in? But then they hear the same ringtone they heard at the scrapyard. They start chasing the guy, but he's too fast for them.
Oh, I'm done trying.
Dad, please. No one's asking you to care. Just trip a stranger.
Well, why didn't you just say so? The guy turned out to be Scotty Boom's son. He sabotaged his dad so he would spend more time with him. He returns the hive to the Simpsons, and Homer couldn't be happier.
You're always so much hotter than I think you're gonna be.
From stealing to attempted murder, Homer just can't catch a break. Someone is trying to kill Homer, and they get Sideshow Bob to help them solve the mystery. The Great Louse Detective opens with the Simpsons getting a free spa weekend, but it wasn't as relaxing as they hoped it to be. Somebody locked Homer in a sauna and turned the heat all the way up.
Do not use steam room if you are overweight or have a heart condition. No! Wait a minute, I'm not wearing a shirt.
Nope, that's just your skin melting. The Simpsons report this crime to the police, but since Chief Wiggum can't do anything, of course, he takes the Simpsons to the prison to see Sideshow Bob. Wiggum tells Bob that they'll make it worth his while if he helps the family, and he agrees. Homer invites Bob to stay with them while he's helping him catch his killer.
Dad, I can't believe you're putting my life at risk to save your own.
Homer tells Bart that he'll understand when he has kids too. I'm sure he won't. Bob starts by asking Homer who might have something against him.
Mr. Burns, Fat Tony, the Emperor of Japan, ex-President Bush.
The late Frank Grimes?
Wow, that's a long list for one man. And Bob asks the same question. How does one man have so many enemies?
I'm a people person who drinks.
Very true. Then Homer and Bob spend the day together, going to the Quickie Mart, talking to Apu about the upcoming Mardi Gras, crashing the car while reading the magazine he bought. You know, just regular things.
I expect this to be fixed with quality GM parts.
But your car was built in Croatia. It's made from old Soviet tanks.
You want to say those tanks didn't get the job done? Bob calms Homer down and tells him he doesn't need any more enemies. The next thing Bob does is he sets up Homer a dummy, and they wait and see who will try to harm him. And apparently, it's everyone.
Once I kill you, everyone will think I'm the real Homer.
None of this seems odd to you.
Nope. Just a regular Wednesday. Homer took Bob to Moe's, but his killer tried to kill him there, too.
Oh my god, he's getting closer!
Well, that is his plan. The next day, Homer gets a letter saying that he's been elected the king of Mardi Gras.
You'll be a sitting duck.
Marge, you're embarrassing me in front of the drag queen.
Because that's what's important right now. Homer decides to be king even though it's the dumbest decision ever, and it's proven that it's rigged.
Homer, it's a trap. You only won because somebody stuffed the ballot box with these.
But this means nothing to Homer because he's the king. At the parade, Bob was wondering, how is Homer's float so quiet? And why is it already moving?
Some mechanic tuned it up right before the parade.
A mechanic? That's it!
Bob tries to get Homer to get off the float because the brakes have been cut, but he can't do it.
Must save buffoon.
It's nice to see him trying to save someone instead of kill them. Bob saves Homer, but somebody keeps shooting at them. They see a man on stilts, and they run for him.
Your king needs these stilts.
Jesus is our only king.
Not anymore.
They back the man into a dead-end street when...
You're my mechanic, Junior.
Frank Grimes, Jr.
You might remember him, but Homer sure doesn't.
Oh, yeah. How is old Grimy?
He's dead! Like you should be.
Well, unfortunately for him, another Grimes ends up going insane because of Homer, and Bob goes back to jail.
If I can crank out just one freak on stilts, I know I've done my job.
You're living the dream, Chief.
But if you thought Sideshow Bob was the worst villain, you're greatly mistaken. Mr. Burns plans to knock out the sun from Springfield, which earns him a lot of enemies. Who Shot Mr. Burns, Part 1, starts with Skinner learning that Springfield Elementary is lying on top of oil, and is now officially the richest elementary school in the state. The school wants to use this money to better itself, but Mr. Burns has other plans.
A non-profit organization with oil? I won't allow it.
Of course he won't. Mr. Burns first went to Skinner to try and intimidate him, to transferring the oil to him. Mr. Burns says that he wants that oil well for himself, because
I've got a monopoly to maintain.
The school's oil well is not for sale, particularly to a black-hearted scoundrel like yourself.
Skinner just made a very powerful enemy. This enrages Mr. Burns, and he decides to undermine the oil dig in the school. Smithers tells him that what he's about to say violates every sycophantic urge in his body, but
I wish you would reconsider. This isn't a rival company you're battling with. It's a school. People won't stand for it.
well, that would be a normal train of thought, but we know Mr. Burns ain't normal. It didn't take long for the school to notice that someone tapped the oil well, but they can't do anything about it. This enrages the people of Springfield, starting with the employees of the school, who need to be let go because a lot of money was invested in the oil digging. But since they aren't getting any oil, they have no way to pay for everything, except letting people go.
I'll kill that Mr. Burns and wound that Mr. Smithers.
Mr. Burns, you better watch out. There's one angry Scot coming your way. Homer is also angry at Mr. Burns, but for other reasons. He just can't remember Homer's name to save his life. Even when Homer sent him a box of chocolates, he only sent a thank you card addressing Marge and the kids.
Kids, won't you step outside for a second?
Dear Lord, that's the loudest profanity I've ever heard.
I wish we got to hear that. Other people were affected by this too. Mo had to close down his bar because it's right next to the oil rig and the fumes are too toxic.
Let me just get one thing.
Me too. Now there's the inflated sense of self-esteem.
And we thought Homer had a lot of enemies. The ground shaking from digging resulted in the old folks' home collapsing into the ground.
Well, sir, you've certainly vanquished all your enemies. The elementary school, the local tavern, the old age home.
Yeah, he eliminated all threats. Children, alcoholics, and old people. But Mr. Burns still has a fight to pick with his biggest enemy.
Since the beginning of time, man has yearned to destroy the sun. I will do the next best thing. Block it out.
Smithers tells him he's gone too far, and he can't stand by him while he does this.
No, Monty, I won't. Not until you step back from the brink of insanity.
I'll do no such thing.
Mr. Burns fires Smithers, and the news of his decision to block out the sun spreads. The town holds a meeting, and the mayor shows his cowardness. But the people don't. They have their guns ready for when they see Mr. Burns.
Oh, you all talk big. But who here has the guts to stop me?
Where is all the courage now? He's just an old man. He blocks the sun and people feel completely defeated. But then Marge hears a gunshot and Mr. Burns comes out, barely standing on his own 2 feet.
I don't think we'll ever know who did this. Everyone in town's a suspect.
To be continued. We won't leave you hanging, don't worry. Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 2 continues the next day, when Smithers wakes up in his trashed apartment with the worst hangover ever. He thinks he's the one who shot Mr. Burns, because he has a memory of shooting someone. The guilt eats him alive, and he goes to confession.
I'm the one who shot Mr. Burns.
That's all I needed to hear.
Smithers is arrested, and he makes a statement for the news. Mel and Krusty were watching, and Mel realized that the reference Smithers used was from the show that was airing on the night Mr. Burns got shot.
Mr. Burns was shot Friday at 3 p.m., the very time that Smithers was at home watching Pardon My Zinger.
Well, it would have been very unfortunate if they sent him to the electric chair for a crime he didn't commit. But now they have 2 questions on their hands. Who shot Mr. Burns? And who did Smithers shoot? But then he remembered. he shot Jasper.
So, instead of wounding an evil old man, I may have killed an innocent old man.
And that's even worse. But lucky for Smithers, he shot Jasper in his wooden leg, and he doesn't even remember it. Lisa goes to the police to try and help them solve the case by questioning all suspects, Moe, Barney, groundskeeper Willie, and Skinner, but all of them have alibis that check out. Meanwhile, Grandpa is acting very suspicious, but I think we can write it off as being old and senile. Chief Wiggum falls asleep after a long day of trying to catch Mr. Burns' shooter, and he has a David Lynch-esque dream.
Huh? I'm not following you.
He's very slow. Eddie suggests that they should check out Mr. Burns' suit.
Did you have the same backwards talking dream with the flaming cards?
I'll drive. It does sound insane most of the time. They find an eyelash on Mr. Burns' suit, and what do you know? It matches the Simpsons' DNA. At the same time, Burns wakes up and starts yelling, "Homer Simpson." Only none of them hear that that's the only thing he's able to say.
DNA, positive ID, those won't hold up in any court. Run, Dad!
Bart, I hate to break it to you, but that is some solid evidence right there. And the cops find a gun underneath Homer's car seat with his fingerprints on it. The evidence couldn't be clearer, but on the way to the station, Homer manages to escape, and he heads straight to the hospital. Lisa suspects that someone planted the gun, and she wants to investigate more, because the Simpson DNA could have come from any one of them. Lisa rules Marge out since she's a Bouvier.
No. When I took your father's name, I took everything that came with it, including DNA.
I don't think it works like that. Smithers offered a prize of $50,000 for anyone who brings Homer to justice, dead or alive. So Lisa has to work fast. She goes to the crime scene to see if she can find any evidence that will prove Homer's innocence. Meanwhile, Homer is at the hospital trying to talk to Mr. Burns, but he only keeps repeating his name. Homer tells Mr. Burns he's running out of time and can't stand his demented games.
You won't be telling anyone else that Homer Simpson shot you.
He won't be saying much more anyway. Lisa hears that her dad is in the hospital and an angry mob is running that way, so she manages to get there seconds before them.
He's innocent! He wouldn't hurt a fly!
Stop telling him it was me! I'll kill you!
It's not the best time to be Homer Simpson. In that moment, Mr. Burns snaps out of it, and he doesn't recognize Homer all over again. This enrages him even more, and he takes a gun and yells at Burns to stop telling people he shot him.
Your kind has neither the cranial capacity nor the opposable digits to operate a firearm.
Offensive, but at least he cleared him. Mr. Burns says that the person who shot him was
Maggie Simpson.
Oddly satisfying, considering all the times he tried to take candy from a baby. Burns explains that he was on top of the world with his sunblock in place, and he saw Maggie in the car eating a lollipop. He tried to take it away, but it was harder than it looked. So when he dropped his gun into Maggie's lap, it accidentally fired.
You pointed to W and S, or, from your point of view, M and S.
But the fact that everything ended fine wasn't enough for him. Burns wants Maggie arrested.
No jury in the world's gonna convict a baby. Maybe Texas.
Maggie just got away with attempted murder. I can't wait to see what she has in store for when she grows up. But now, the biggest mystery of all. Milhouse moves away, so Bart and Lisa become best friends. Milhouse doesn't live here anymore, starts with Milhouse becoming very rebellious, and Bart doesn't understand what it's about. But he goes along with it until Milhouse tells him that he's moving away with his mom.
Capital City? You can't move that far. You're my best friend. What's your mom making? I'll match it.
Oh, poor Bart. I never really understood why he liked Milhouse so much. Lisa notices that Bart's mood is down, and she tries to cheer him up, but he pretends like everything's fine. He says that he has new friends now, friends who get him.
Is it Ralph?
It is not Ralph.
Hi, Bart! My nose makes its own bubble gum.
Bart, I hate to say this, but you have a terrible choice in friends. The next day, Bart visits Milhouse in Capital City, and boy, has he changed.
Milhouse, is that you? Yeah, I gave my look some new flavor. Suck it in!
And just when we thought he couldn't get any more cringy, Milhouse's new friends also come over and he asks Bart to give him a wedgie in front of them so he can be cool.
No way! Please! I'll be gentle! Oh, fine.
And the mystery remains. Why is Bart friends with him? We'll never know. Marge sees Bart watching old tapes of him and Milhouse, and she suggests he should help Lisa with washing the car. They start playing and hosing each other, and Bart actually has a good time. They go for a bike ride later, and they reach a ditch, and Bart says he'll go first. Bart says that everyone knows she's the future of their family.
That's not true, Bart. Mom and Dad value us equally, and Ah, you're right.
Lisa, don't lie to yourself. Bart jumps over the ditch and tells Lisa to go ahead.
Just forget everything you know about gravity.
But I know so much about it.
It's hard being her sometimes. They find a cave on the other side and go in.
Ooh, we're like Howard Carter discovering the Temple of Tutankhamun.
Bart adds that it's also like when he discovered the school Xerox code. Everyone has their own special thing. Bart and Lisa discover that their cave is a Native American burial ground, and they decide they won't tell anyone they were there.
This place should be our special secret. Okay, shake.
I don't think I've ever seen them this close. The next day, Lisa got a call from her friend Janie asking to hang out, and since she was hanging out with Bart, she said,
Some other time, maybe. Today, I'm just hanging out at home.
Then Nelson came by to ask Bart to hang out, and he said,
Oh, that does sound fun. But not today.
Wait, does this mean?
Oh my God, my brother's my best friend!
Oh my God, my sister's my best friend.
Why do they look at it like it's something wrong or bad? Even the kids at school can't believe they're hanging out, but Willie thinks it won't last, cause...
Brothers and sisters are natural enemies, like Englishmen and Scots, or Scots and other Scots.
Not everything is like Scotland, Willie. But he was right. When Milhouse came back, Bart's and Lisa's friendship took a turn.
Now, let me show you that mound.
You told him our secret?
Hey, he's my best friend.
Bart's loyalty is in the wrong place. That night, Bart noticed something was bugging Lisa, and he asked her about it.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
Boy, are you in trouble.
Homer explained that when a woman says it's nothing, then something is definitely wrong. This got Bart thinking, and he tried to make it up to Lisa by asking her to play Monopoly.
Look, just because Milhouse is gone doesn't mean you have to pretend to be my friend.
Oh, she's really mad. Bart rolled the dice for her, and it landed on chance. As she was reading the chance card, Bart told her to pick up another.
I'm trying to do something nice, you'd think. Pick up a card.
Lisa picks up the card, and it says that Bart will defend her when other kids call her a nerd. Maybe he isn't so bad. Bart told her that just because Milhouse is back doesn't mean that he hasn't learned a few things about being a brother.
I think I'm gonna use this card right now.
Oh, do I have to?
But the mystery still stands. Why is Milhouse so loved by Bart when he's the worst friend ever? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know your favorite Simpsons mystery.